Hey, my spring break is over and I did nothing during the spring break. It is fantastic. What's up, is a culture detective here investigating your favorite movies, and today I'm going to do another movie review on a movie I watched very, very recently. And by recently, I mean last night. And that is Kou, or Rouge, directed by Stanley Kwan, or Kwan, and it is actually adapted from a novel written by Lei Baihua, or Lillian Lee. This is a movie released and produced in Hong Kong in the year 1987, starring the most tragic duo of artists in the history of Hong Kong, and that is Anita Mui, which is Mu Yinfeng, and Zheng Guowen, which is Leslie Zheng. And yes, they're both very tragic people in real life, because Anita Mui, she passed away because of cancer in the year 2003 when she was only 40 years old. She still has a career ahead of her. And then we also have Leslie Zheng, who unfortunately committed suicide on April 1st, also 2003. And they were both in this film. And this film, given how melancholic and somber and haunting it is, their passings are just even more sour and dreary. Also, it's important to notice that Anita Mui and Leslie Zheng are both incredibly important and influential stars in Hong Kong. Not only movie star, but also pop singer. They are they were very, very, very important. They had a lot of fans. And even in this year of 2021, there would still be Leslie Zheng fans who would mourn his passing on every April Fools. And this is probably why not a lot of Hong Kongers celebrate April Fools, because it is also a very sad day. Anyways, this film, oh my god. I am surprised. This is amazing. This is a great film. Wow. This is amazing. First of all, this is like the oldest Hong Kong film I've watched so far. I know it's hard to believe, but I actually have never watched any films that came out of Hong Kong before the 1990s, so I've actually never watched a single Bruce Lee film, because why would I? But, yeah. Oh my goodness, this is a beautifully haunting and hypnotizing and mesmerizing film. It is about a doomed love. It is also about ghosts. It is also about the passage of time. And it is just beautiful. It is beautiful. First of all, before we talk about the story, we have the art direction. It's gorgeous. This movie constantly jumps from 1937 to 1987, aka the present day of back then. And the setting, the costumes, the makeup for the 1937 stuff, it's top notch. I'm telling you, man, it's some really good art direction. The costumes are beautiful. They're ever changing and they're beautiful. The cinematography is also pretty damn good. I covered Do last week or a few days ago, I don't know. And that movie is entertaining, sure, but one thing I complain about the movie is that it's just not that well filmed. There are just so many close-ups and choppy edits. It's just like, oh, what the heck is even going on? But this movie is so steady and it's so stable, and it just really reinforces and emphasizes the somberness of the film. The pacing of the film is amazing as well. It is pretty much perfect pacing. I mean, it's not fast paced, it's slow paced, but a slow pace is perfect for a movie that's going for a sadder tone. It's the perfect pace. The chronology of this movie, the way the story jumps from 1937 to 87 to 37 to 87, back and forth, is also really interesting. I mean, the story could have been told in chronological order, but it wouldn't have been this fascinating. I mean, after Act 1, where we spent like 20 minutes in the 1937, suddenly we're in the modern day, and then we see Anita Mui's character. It's like, whoa, what happened? And you kind of want to know what happened in between. And we learn more and more as the movie progresses, and it is awesome. Yeah, I forgot to tell you the plot. But essentially, Anita Mui's character is Fleur or Yu Fa, and we have Sub Yi Xiu, played by Leslie Zheng, and together they are respectively a young prostitute and simultaneously a singer, and a man from a really rich family back in the year 1937. They fell in love with each other, but of course the guy, Sub Yisiu, or 12, of course 12's family was like, wow, why would you want to marry this girl, you know? Like, it's gonna ruin our family's reputation. So the love is doomed, and basically, Fleur killed herself, and Leslie Jones' character 12 also killed himself, and they died. Basically, it's not a spoiler, by the way. That's in the premise. So they died, and they wanted to return to the human world from hell after 50 years so that they would reunite and meet again. And so the story in the present day is basically Fleur, Anita Mui's character. She comes back to the human world, to the Middle Earth from hell as a ghost. And she tries to find 12, but she just couldn't find him. And the story is just about finding 12, but also uncovering the story of Fleur. And yeah, the acting is, I wouldn't say it's great, but I would say Anita Mui's performance is really great. It's melancholic. You can clearly see a difference between her when she's in the year 1937. She looks more alive, but in the modern day, as a ghost, she looks kind of dead, but not in a way it's like a zombie, you know? In a way, it's stoic and melancholic. And I mean, yeah, she does cry and she does have emotions, but her facial expressions just don't quite change drastically, and she just stands out as a ghost. There's also a strong sense of the concept in this movie, modernity versus tradition, because we constantly go from 1937 to 87, and clearly there is another concept behind this movie, and that is how Hong Kong has become so commercial and has become so different, how rapidly it's changing, and how some of the beautiful old places and buildings and people and cultures have disappeared because of this rapid development. And that is something that, I mean, everyone in the world in the 1900s would experience, you know, this really, really rapid change. And I guess I just have to say that the third act is amazing. At first, I'm like, okay, yeah, this movie is an 8 out of 10. I like this movie. But it's the third act that really pushed this movie to a 9 out of 10. The plot twist and the very somber and sour ending. If there's one complaint I have with this movie, it would be towards the end. So, aside from Fleur and 12, we also have the characters from 1987. We have the main male character from 1987, which is Wing Deng, I think that's his name, and then we have Cho, which is basically his girlfriend, and Cho, the modern girl. Towards the end, after the plot twist, she gets angry towards Fleur, but then immediately in the next scene, she's not angry again, and I just hope that the movie would explore that character change a little bit more, because that's just very sudden. But honestly, it's just a minor flaw, because a story that's meant to be paced like this and to have an ending like this, it's really difficult to change details like this. But yeah, overall, really good movie. I legitimately enjoy this movie. I think it's hypnotizing, it's mesmerizing, it's somber, melancholic, has a nice dreamy vibe. And also, Lillian Lee, the writer of the novel, which this movie is adapted from, also wrote Dumplings and Farewell My Concubine. And I really look forward to checking out those movies as well. So, yeah, this is a great one. I am giving Yin Ji Kao, or Rouge, a strong 8 to a light 9 out of 10. And yeah, I will be watching more Hong Kong movies, because as a film lover from Hong Kong, I have a responsibility to watch Hong Kong movies. I want to. Okay?